Hey, good evening. It's Monday, January 18th. Again, thanks for being here tonight. And we're going to look at the two passages we skipped over this morning to give us some sense of what hope really is all about. Remember, hope is not expectation. Hope in the Bible is the certainty that God will deliver his promise. And if we don't have that, we don't have anything. Now, we're kind of used to dealing with the Psalms and other portions with grand things on a big scale. But this particular portion of Psalm 62 has to do something which teaches all of us, reaches all of us. Because it's about the struggles that we have in our interpersonal relationships. And there's a warning here for us to trust God, an encouragement to trust God in the middle of the really difficult challenges of relationships. And we know that that's where life is. Our life is up or it's down based on our relationships. And so David is talking about relational, emotional struggles and trauma. So the first couple verses, and then repeated in 5 and 6, he encourages his soul to find rest in God alone. God has won the victory. God is his rock. In the middle of this relational, emotional struggles, he believes he'll never be shaken. And then that grows to a confidence in 5 and 6. Now notice in 3 and 4, we didn't read this morning. And put this in your relational struggles where you hurt, okay? Drop yourself into this. How long will you assault a man when all of you throw him down? This leaning wall, this tottering fence. In other words, he's saying, I'm on the ropes. How long will you keep beating me up? Ever feel that way? They fully intend to topple him from his lofty place, to take delight in his lies. David's standing, people have been mocking him. And then they take delight in lying about him. Ever feel like that? With their mouths, they bless, but in their hearts, they curse. And then there's a musical interlude, Selah, which means take a pause. Think about this, because you and I can relate to this, can't we? With their mouths, they bless, but in their hearts, they curse. Well, why didn't you say it today, but now you're saying this, and then you feel betrayed? See, this psalm is talking about the real life struggles that each of us have, and they're real. But the Word of God speaks to it. You know, if you want to find out if someone is going to be faithful and a reliable friend and trustworthy, think in advance, if you will, if you want to test a relationship and the faithfulness of the person, how would they treat you when you respond in a way that fails them? How would they treat you when you respond in a way that fails them? You see, don't live on the hope that that won't happen, because you and I know that it'll happen because we fail each other. See, what this psalm is saying, don't invest yourself and your hope, your expectations in the praise of men. Rather, invest in the approval. When you invest in the approval of people, you're building your foundation on sand. You're like the foolish builder. Rather, Proverbs 27:6 warns us. The kisses of an enemy are profuse, but faithful are the wounds of a friend. Faithful wounds, faithful love build up a relationship. They place you on the rock of stability. Praises all the time that ignore the reality of our struggles only make our foundation on sinking sand. And then storms will come. And again, we're obviously the big storms of life, the difficulties that we have But the relational storms will come. They will come to husbands and wives, parents and children, people trying to struggle in a relationship with each other. The storms will come. How do you weather the storms? You build your foundation on the rock of Christ and on His Word. And your hope is not in somebody doing well to you. Your hope is God blessing you. So you don't find rest in other people being nice to you. You find rest in God and in God alone. So my hope comes from Him. He alone is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will not be shaken. Do we catch the beauty of that? The wonder of that? People are going to be up and down. Don't trust in their praises. Trust in the faithfulness of God. Man, don't expect people to be what they cannot. No one can be God to you. Only God can. If you look for other people to bring God to you, you will be bitter. If you look for people to be people and you encourage them and expect God to be God and not people, that becomes a rock. See, this psalm speaks to us right where we live. Don't trust in the shakiness of relationships. Trust in the faithfulness of God. He alone is our rock. And that's the thought for this night. You rest well knowing that God is your foundation, your rock. Build your relational houses on the rock of faith in God and the promises of God. You have a great night. Good night.